Hi everyone, welcome. I'm preparing to check in on my two newest worm bins that are now only 10 days of age. They're over here on the very end, the two black bins stacked one on top of the other. As you can see, they've got African nightcrawlers living in them. ANC is my abbreviation for African nightcrawler. And we took a population that used to reside in one single container and we split them in half, and we released half of each of those amount of worms into each of these bins, and now we've got two. So I think they're probably due for a feeding. I know that I fed the systems prior to introducing the worms, so the food was in there already waiting for them. I just don't remember what it was or how much it was. So we're going to take our chances. I got a nice generous portion for them today, so we're going to get them up on the bench and we're going to get them fed. So let's get started. The meal plan is just an assortment of different stuff out of my freezer. And there's a good bit of stuff here too, a nice weight to it. And when I was making bedding not too long ago, I used paper bags that had handles on them. This stuff I didn't risk running through my shredder, but I assume this stuff is probably something that'll break down. So I figured I would just throw these into these two fairly new bins. Being 10 days old, they're definitely my newest bins. So let's see how they're coming along. Just like with everything else, I don't peek in on these things between the last time you and I looked at them together. So everything we encounter is always a new experience for not only you, but for me too at the same time. So let's see, we laid out numerous top coverings here. I do remember when we had set up the horizontal migration feeding zone to round these little guys up out of their old environments. We had used one of those perforated pieces of cardboard as a partition, and that we tore in half and we left it out here as sort of a little feeding zone indicator. And then I think this piece, this piece of cardboard had also just been a single piece that we cut in half for this purpose here. It seems like it's totally delaminating. All the layers are just coming apart here on their own without any help. So we had various bits and pieces of cardboard. This must have been what remains of the horizontal migration feeding zones partition. But all this cardboard is totally just coming apart. I guess whatever glue holds this stuff together must be water soluble. Definitely seeing good bits of springtails out here. All these little white specks here and there. A couple spots over there too. I see some springtails. And this pile of kind of castings material is just what would have come along with the worms from their horizontal migration feeding zone. So this isn't all stuff that was created here by the worms. This is stuff that just came with them from their old environment. And it's always kind of tricky spotting worms when the system is still primarily bedding, like what you see here, especially the kind of bedding I use, these pieces of shredded paper cardboard. Makes for like a good camouflage environment for the worms to blend right into. Well, you can see them, they're there. They're all over the place. They're just hanging out. I'm not sure I've seen anything that resembles leftovers of whatever it is that we left for them as food in here last time. So it does seem like they're probably due for a little bit more. And well, you saw what I'm giving them. It's not even a little bit more, it's a whole lot more. So let's see how bin number 2 is doing here. I saw something over here. And it was either stuff that we just brought along with the worms from their horizontal migration feeding zone, or part of what we fed them. I don't even know what it is, let alone identify it. So here too, we'll just follow the tradition down here, which is to typically feed my systems down the middle. Just dig a little bit of a trench into which we can drop the foods. So this must be lemon peel. It clearly looks like it, and the worms are all over it. It's got a little bit of juiciness remaining, and the little wormies are capitalizing on it. Looks like we must have fed cherry tomatoes. Perhaps this was one of the places where the last of my garden scraps have been getting fed. And everything looks really nice. Everything's all shiny and bright and lively and moist. Happy and healthy looking wormies. From what I can tell. You can even see a good bit of moisture down at the bottom. Lately I've been building my bins almost like a swamped environment with standing water oftentimes can be found at the very bottom. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the way I built these two. They probably were quite damp at the very bottom. But that stuff will all eventually wick up into the surrounding materials. I'm sure the worms will make some use of it in numerous ways. And I bet you it really amounts to an environment that the worms definitely enjoy occupying. Alright, so we'll see what happens with these things. I just figure we'll chuck them right into the feeding zones. No ceremony or anything fancy about that either. And even all that top covering stuff that we had, you know, I mean, I'm wondering if we might benefit from placing some of this cardboard that we've got over here. Maybe not all of it, but you know, some of these chunks. Maybe we save like a piece that looks kind of nice, like this piece, to rest out on top. But perhaps now we can just bring in my hand that's meant to remain clean for doing some off-script, impromptu, improvised stuff. Kind of like that. I think that's a nice way to go in terms of bedding for these little guys. A little bit of fresh new stuff over here, a little bit of recycled material. The recycled material's got the benefit of having all kinds of critters all over it, in it, on it, everything already. And we'll save a little piece over there too. So I am taking care to not soil my pinky finger so I can operate my camera remote control app on my smartphone. So I need to maintain a certain minimum amount of cleanliness, otherwise I'll have to use the tip of my nose to hit the button, and that would be awkward. Alright, let's press on and give these little guys this lovely treat of mixed fruits and veggies. I'm just wondering what kind of opportunities I might have here to I was trying to just wipe some of the stuff on my finger tips over here down onto the foods. And perhaps, as long as we're at it already, I could just continue to use this as an opportunity to try to clean my hands. And we can see what we're feeding. I see celery, I see lemon peel, I see, I believe, tomatoes. This is a new one that I just learned not long ago. Persimmons. So, alright, my camera's getting grumpy. The battery's running low. So instead of prolonging this visit, why don't we just leave it at that? Give them their food. See if we can get things covered up and ready to be put back up on the shelf. Perhaps with a couple moments of power remaining in the battery. So that's it for the video, everyone, with the now 10-day-old African nightcrawlers doing really nice in here from what I could tell. Bunch of happy, healthy looking worms, and now they just received a pretty good generous portion of yummy foods. Hopefully they'll appreciate that. And alright, so before I go, let me just really quickly say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before I go. That's always really appreciated. If you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. Alright, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.